Hello beautiful faces, thanks for stopping by whether you are new or returning. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different because I know I usually post book content. I like to say that I have a book tube. However, one of the things that I love doing when I'm not reading books is watching BL TV series. Yes, I love me a BL. And I've noticed here on YouTube there isn't really a video where someone can watch it if they're new to the BL scene and they don't really know where to start. They don't really know what series they should start with, what can get them started on their BL journey. And so I wanted to make a video like that. So if you are new to the BL scene, this video is for you. And I'm going to be giving you some recommendations today for some really good BL series to watch that will hopefully get you hooked, and then you'll be going down a rabbit hole that you have no interest in coming out of. I watch so many shows, it's just not even funny at this point. I will also give you a tiny bit of a guide in the beginning. That's not really going to be the main portion of the video, but I will just talk about maybe some popular phrases that you might hear in this community. There are a couple that I have heard that I didn't really know what they were, so I had to ask people like, what does this stand for, sort of thing. And so I'll give you a little bit of that as well. So if that sounds interesting to you, then keep on watching. So I think the most obvious acronym is, what does BL even stand for? So it stands for boys love. So it's something that's used in the, I guess, queer television community to a show where boys love other boys. In the book community, we call that MM, which that stands for male, but we don't say MM in this sense. MM is used for books, but BL is used for like television. Like, because I'm a part of like because I'm a part of the book community and the BL community and the K-pop community. Like, come on. And like videos that are about staffy dogs because I have a staffy dog of my own, and you know what I mean? So I'm part of a lot of communities and things like that. So BL, that's what it stands for, boys love. So boys loving boys in a television show. I think you kind of catch my drift and where I'm going with that. Another really popular acronym that you might hear used a lot is NC, which people might say like the NC scene. That, you know, if I was going to use it in a sentence. So it has two direct translations. So no cut, no children. So what that stands for basically is a fun, spicy scene. So you could be talking about a very specific, fun, spicy scene, or you could be talking about the fact that a particular show has fun, spicy scenes. I'm trying to be a little on the discreet side because we do not need any videos to be taken down. Basically, some BL series and a lot of newer and recent ones are quite spicy. Quite spicy. If you think things like 50 Shades of Grey and After are spicy, I dare you to watch a BL and then get back to me. Like, just watch one and get back to me and you will have retracted your statement, because some BLs that I have personally seen make 50 Shades of Grey and After look vanilla as fuck. Okay? Like, sometimes I'm watching and I'm like, oh my god, how'd they even film that and have it be fake? Like, it's a whole thing. That's another video for another day. I also wanted to talk about the fact that you will most likely hear the acronym NC. And what does NC mean? Well, literally, no cut, no children, which I guess also just means like this show is not for children. There is adult content in this show. It is not for children. You know, don't let your kids watch this. Like, you know what I mean? So that is what that is. Another popular acronym that you might hear a lot in a BL is OST, and that literally stands for the original soundtrack. So like the music score of a show. The one thing that you will notice when watching a BL TV show is they don't use real music. Now, all music is real music. If it's music, it's real. I mean, unless it was created by AI, but again, that's a story for another day. But what I meant by that is it doesn't use like monetized sort of music. They make their own music. A lot of it is instrumental, and then a couple of songs might have some words in there, and they are OSTs for the show. So you're not going to be watching a show and an Ariana Grande song will come on. They would most likely have to ask permission from Ariana Grande herself. It would cost a lot of money, and I think music might be one of the ways that they try to save on the costs, perhaps. Again, like, don't quote me because I'm not a BL expert, but all I know is that I have never watched a BL and an Ariana Grande song has come on, okay? So that is what OST stands for, original soundtrack. You hear OST also a lot in relation to, like, just Korean dramas and other things. Like, OST is not just for BL specifically. The last acronym that you might hear a lot, and then we're going to get into the TV shows I would recommend, is UK. So UKE. I don't know if people say it as UKE or if they say UK or uke or something like that. Basically, it's another spicy terminology, because sometimes it's easy to tell and sometimes it is not easy to tell who basically is top or bottom, and uke is basically to describe bottom. So I've got this as an AI generated response here. It just says, in boys love, uke stands for the more passive or receiving partner in a relationship. So basically, uke is bottom. Okay. I don't know if they have a word for top. Maybe they do. I'm not entirely sure. But I have heard uke a lot. I don't know why they don't just use the word bottom, but I just wanted to let you know that you may hear the word uke, and so you should know what that is, because these are popular terminology that you will hear in a BL TV series. Now, with all of those really popular acronyms out of the way, let's get into some of the BL series that I would recommend as, like, for first-timers. This is your first time ever watching a BL and you want a good recommendation. You want shows that are gonna get you hooked. These are going to be shows that grip you from beginning to end, and then you go down a rabbit hole and you're just going to watch basically every BL ever. That's physically impossible, but that's basically what this video is going to be now. A bit of a disclaimer, this is not like my all-time favourite BL shows. If you would like me to make a separate video of me talking about my all-time favourite shows, then I can. Let's be real, whether I'm asked to or not, I'm going to do it anyway because I love talking about my all-time favourite shows. There might be one or two in this video that I would consider all-time favourites, but there'll be a couple in here that aren't because, well, that's not what this video is. This is like ones that I think will get you hooked, and I want to recommend all different types of shows. I reckon you've got like maybe 4 main, maybe like 3.5 main, so you've got like cutesy sorts of shows, you have drama shows, which maybe is like more of a mature version of cutesy, you've got action-packed, and then you've got like fantasy action-packed, because you can be action-packed but not fantasy, but you can also be action-packed and fantasy. You can also be fantasy and more cutesy as well. I tried to have a little bit of everything in here. I also tried to have some that are like, you know, hot and spicy. I also tried to have a couple that were tame and clean, because not every show is like extremely spicy. There are some that are a little more on the tame side, so depending on what you are into, I tried to have a little bit of everything here. This is just shows that I recommend it'd be good for first timers. So let's get into those shows. Rightio, so I'm starting out with a show that I have recently found out is considered quite controversial, which I didn't realise it was. However, I really wanted to recommend this first show because personally it was my own first BL. Tharntype. Tharntype was the first BL that I ever watched. It personally got me hooked into the BL genre, and I have just watched a ton of BL since. And it's all thanks to Tharntype. So how I discovered Tharntype is there was a lady who put a video up on YouTube, and I cannot remember this person's YouTube for the life of me. I watched Tharntype, I think like a good 4 years ago, something like that, when Tharn Type was coming out, basically. And yeah, so a woman put a video up on YouTube, and she was basically talking and gushing over Tharn Type, and she added in a couple of clips from the show, and I watched it and was like, oh my god, like I need to watch this pronto, and I did, and now I'm hooked on BLs. So I will give you a little bit of a synopsis. I have some synopsises written on my phone, so I'm looking down at it because I don't want to like forget or miss any. But yes, Tharn Type I highly recommend because it was my personal first BL. It got me hooked, so who says it won't get you all hooked? Anyways, this is the synopsis, okay? It follows the story of two college roommates named Tharn and Type respectively. So it is quite common that you will see a lot of BLs that are kind of just named after the two main leads. There are a couple today that have those sorts of names where it's clear as day that they are just named after the two main leads. That's not with every show ever. A lot of shows do have, like, I guess, other types of titles, but you will see a couple where it is just clear as day that they have decided to name the show after the two main leads. Tharn Type is one of those because one guy is named Tharn and the other is named Type. So, like I was saying, two college roommates. Tharn is openly gay, whereas Type is openly homophobic. This causes issues between the two characters, especially when Tharn starts to like Type and Type maybe starts to like him back. So Type's original mission when he finds out that Tharn is gay is he wants to do everything in his power to get Tharn to leave the dorm. So Type and Tharn, they share a dorm room, and Type's like, I can't share a room with a gay guy, I fucking refuse. And so he's trying his might to get him to leave. So Tharn has a best friend named Long, who is the king of stirring the pot, and Type has a best friend named Techno, who's honestly just here for moral support and to play soccer. So Type is a sports major. He's, you know, and he plays soccer in his, I think soccer's also a part of his major, but like he's a sports major. Tharn is a music major. He sings and plays guitar at a bar for a side character. Like he's friends with this girl that owns a bar, and he like does gigs there and things like that. I thoroughly loved this show, but you know what, I try and stay away personally from other people's reviews. I know this video itself is like quite, I guess, reviewy, but like I said, I only recently found out that apparently it's a little controversial. I'll admit, I have not watched Tharn Type since I originally watched it 4 years ago, and maybe I am due for a rewatch and then maybe I'll see what's wrong with it. I don't know. I liked it. It got me hooked onto the BL genre. It was my first BL ever. And Tharn Type has 2 seasons as well. So when you're finished with season 1, you can watch season 2. Another thing I'll tell you about just Asian entertainment in general, actually. Some shows here and there might go to season 2, but it is quite common for most shows to just have like the 1 season. Because I think they think that maybe they're flogging a dead horse with the plot. Like, the story wraps up in season 1, and unless they think the show desperately needs a season 2, it won't get one. And season 2 is usually it. Like, there's not really... The only Asian television show that I can think of with a 3rd season is Alice in Borderland and Squid Game. You get 1 or 2 seasons at most. But that's also not a bad thing. In the beginning, when I first started getting into it, I was a bit, like, disappointed that there weren't going to be, like, 8 seasons worth of Tharn Type. But I've kind of learnt to respect it and just go, you know what? I could be down with that. You know what? The story does wrap up. You don't need, like, you know, you're going to have to bring in new characters and things like that. And maybe they just don't fucking want to. And they want to just leave it at that. They had their happy ending, let them have their happy ending, and move on. So I've learned to accept it and don't necessarily mind it now. And hey, it gives me more time to watch like more different shows, because if there were 8 seasons of Tharn Type, I would not have watched anywhere near as many shows as I have, because I'd be watching all 8 seasons of Tharn Type. So yeah, but Tharn Type did get 2 seasons because it did feel the need to have a 2nd season. The 2nd season's a little bit different. They're a little bit more grown up. They live together now. They have jobs, so they're not in university anymore. It does have the tiniest bit of a plot difference. I preferred season 1, but season 2 is not bad by any means. I loved season 1. Now, this show is definitely drama filled, a little cutesy, it gets, towards the end of Tharn Type, it gets it gets really, really good. All I'm going to say, not Thong, why do I call him Thong? Long, he has more to the show than just being Tharn's bestie. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I reckon that you should give Tharn Type a watch. So the spiciness level for Tharn Type. So at the time when I watched it all those years ago, I thought it was the spiciest thing I'd ever seen. I have since watched more shows that have proven me wrong. I'm probably going to say it's medium. I'm going to say medium. But if anything I said about Tharn Type interests you, then I definitely recommend giving it a watch. And I hope it gets you hooked. It definitely got me hooked. Next, I'm going to talk about one. It's a little more action-packed. It is also a lot tamer on the spice as well. It's a bit of a slow burn. This one is called Jack and Joker. So again, another BL show that is named after the two main leads. One guy is named Jack, the other guy is named Joker. So this one for the spice level is a lot tamer. It is a slow burn. You do get an NC scene towards the end, but it's a lot more of a slower burn. So you don't really get spice until like the later episodes. I'm not going to say when because I don't really want to like spoil when you start getting intimate, I guess. Because I think in the BL industry that can be considered a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not until a lot later. It is definitely more plot focused. Jack and Joker is honestly, this one I would dub as one of my all-time favourite shows. I absolutely love this. Love this show, and I love the couple Yin War who play, so Yin plays Jack and War plays Joker, and I love them. I haven't watched anything else that they have been in, and that is honestly a crime. Because I love them so much and I love Jack and Joker, and so I want to watch like everything else. Because I know they've got a new show coming out called Police in Love. They also have 2 seasons worth of Love Mechanics. And my friend has been begging me to watch Love Mechanics. I need to do it. But I'm getting a little off track. Let's get into the synopsis of Jack and Joker. So it follows one character named Jack and another named Joker. Episode 1 is like a setting up sort of episode. So episode 1 is very important. Do not skip it. But episode 1 kind of like sets up the show, because at the very beginning of episode 2, it skips to 5 years later. But episode 1 is very important. Do not skip. If you think you can skip episode 1, you are going to be quite confused. When you get to episode 2, you must watch. It's non-negotiable, okay? So, Joker is a thief and damages Jack's life because of it. Jack's dream was to become a martial arts teacher, but that has been crushed because of Joker, and he ends up working as a debt collector for a character that he owes money to. Jack can't stand Joker and wants nothing to do with him in the beginning, but Joker actually feels really bad about what he did those 5 years ago, and he seriously wants to make amends. So Jack, Joker plus some side characters are all brought together to collaborate on a grand heist and take down the big bad of the show. I love shows like these where you got a group of friends that all come together and take down the big bad of the show. So there's, the evil team, good versus evil. I love those sorts of shows. This one is great. It actually uses Joker's manipulation skills for good this time, not for evil. And it's cute because you get Jack and Joker falling in love. I say Jack and Joker falling in love along the way. Like this is one of my all-time favorite shows. Now this actually got me out of a little bit of a BL slump. Because basically, I'll watch a couple of BLs and then I'll decide that maybe I take a little bit of a break and I watch some Western shows, or I'll watch a Korean K-drama instead, or something like that. Just because some of my favourite shows of all time are obviously these BLs, but some of my favourite shows of all time are other shows like Will and Grace, How I Met Your Mother, The Vampire Diaries, The Summer I Turned Pretty. I love The Summer I Turned Pretty. And then I'll realise, I don't know, it'll blink and it'll genuinely be months since the last time I watched a BL. this kind of happened just before I picked up Jack and Joker, and I started seeing a lot of videos for it. So I'm like, alright, let's get into BLs again. So I watched Jack and Joker and just became obsessed. Literally, it was my entire personality at the time. I frothed it. I frothed the entire thing. It was amazing. The chemistry that Yin and War have as Jack and Joker, like, off the charts, insane. And I'm not usually much of a slow burn person, because in my book videos, I've said it, I'm not really like a slow burny, but oh my god, in BL, I'm kind of here for it. I am actually kind of here for it, and I loved it. Jack and Joker is one of the best shows ever. It pulled me out of a slump. I got right back into my BLs, and haven't stopped ever since, and it's all thanks to Jack and Joker. If anything I mentioned has any sort of interest for you, I definitely recommend giving it a watch. If you like action-packed style shows, you are going to find out if I start maybe posting a couple of BL videos alongside all the book stuff that I do. I have a type when it comes to the type of shows that are the ones that I like versus the ones that I don't like. Jack and Joker I liked. Very, very, very much so. Rightio. Next, if you want action-packed, but you don't want to have to compromise on the spice. So if you watch Jack and Joker and you kind of wish that Jack and Joker was more spicy, Pit Babe. I highly recommend Pit Babe. Now, Pit Babe has an entirely different plot to Jack and Joker as well. This isn't like Jack and Joker but spicy, but anyways, it's action-packed like Jack and Joker. It's just like completely different. So, Pit Babe, let me read you the synopsis. This is another show that has 2 seasons, by the way. So when you finish season 1, you can go ahead and start season 2. Anyway, we follow a guy named Babe, who is the unbeatable king of F1 racing. Enter Charlie, who has been a fan of Babe for a while and wants to be a racer too. They strike a deal that Charlie can be Babe's boy, and if Babe is satisfied, Charlie can choose a car from Babe's collection. So, Babe likes to have sex before he races. It helps him focus because Babe is also an alpha with special powers who grew up as an adopted son of this guy named Tony, who is the big bad of the show. And the main leads, Babe and Charlie, plus a bunch of side characters, have to come together to take Tony down. Or do they? And we're leaving it at that for the plot synopsis. So, basically, it's a show that combines, like, F1 racing. There's also an Omega-verse element. Omega-verse is, like, Alpha, Beta, Omega. It's werewolf stuff. It's not too heavy on the Omega-verse, because if what I just mentioned to you sounds amazing, but you're not really into Omega-verse, it's not that heavy. I was actually a little confused with the Omega-verse side of things. It's not, like it's not the main, like, the Omega-verse is not the main focus. I really would say it is a little bit more on the racing side of things, a little bit, kind of. And, like, the special powers that these werewolves have. So it's not necessarily, like, the Omega-verse is not the main section of the whole thing. Anyways, I absolutely love Pit Babe. Oh my god, I binged both seasons maybe about a month ago. I was sick recently and just sat and, like, watched both seasons of Pit Babe. Got me through the sickness, let me tell you. Because, oh, I love it. This is another one. This is another show that's, like, one of my favourite shows of all time. And it's spicy. Don't you worry. It's spicy. It's very spicy. So, spice lovers will love it. People who aren't really that into spice, feel free to, I guess, skip a minute or two if that's not for you. But, like, spice lovers will love it. I love it. It's a great show. It's got great plot. This is a really good show that has good, like, spice versus plot. So, you still have that really great plot pulling you forward. It is a really good, enjoyable plot. And I definitely think that I preferred the first season. There are minor things annoyed me about second season, but, like, I still loved it. I still frothed season 2. Don't you worry, I frothed it. But I did, like, season 1 to me is, like, perfection. And it's good because in season 1 you get, like, main couple, side couple, and that's really it. But, like, season 2 felt a little more ensemble-y, which maybe I should have explained this in the explanation of, like, different acronyms, but then this is not necessarily an acronym. There are shows that have, like, one singular couple. There are shows that'll have a main couple and a side couple. Then there'll be shows that are known as ensemble, where there are multiple leading couples. I still definitely think that in the second season of Pit Babe, Babe and Charlie are clear as day the main couple, but you bring in a couple of new couples in season 2, which sometimes felt that maybe it took a little bit of screen time away from Babe and Charlie, who are the main couple and are supposed to be having the most amount of screen time. But still a great show. I still loved it. I still highly recommend that you guys watch it. If any of what I said interested you, I definitely recommend giving it a go. I love like taking down the bad guy shows. I love an action-packed show, okay? They are my favorite types, are action-packed sorts of shows. They are the type of dramas that I am personally drawn towards and things like that. And Pavel Poo are one of my all-time favorite BL couples, because Pavel Poo play the roles of Babe and Charlie, and I just absolutely love them. My TikTok is just filled with Pavel Poo content at the moment, and I just love them, and I love this show. Next, we are going to talk about The Eclipse. This is not necessarily a favourite show of mine. I personally wasn't the biggest fan, but like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this video is not about me talking about my all-time favourite shows. This is on the cutesier side of things. This is for people who just want a cutesy little BL with a cutesy little plot, very tame and clean. It's very low on the spice and things like that. So let me read you the synopsis for it, and then we'll get into other things. So we follow a guy called Ak, who is a stickler for school rules. He's the president of the Prefect Club, who are a group of students making sure that others are following the rules too. We follow a second guy called Ayan or I, who is a new student who transfers to this specific all-boys school to find out who is responsible for his uncle's suicide. His uncle was a teacher at that school. All the while, rumours of a curse loom over the school. When students act out, the curse gets worse. So this is a pretty simple and straightforward sort of plot. Ak is a stickler for the school rules. I is very like, you know, fuck the school rules and doesn't really want to abide by them, and is really just there to find out who was responsible for driving his uncle to suicide. I didn't love this one personally, but I don't really want to get into that because that is not what this video is. I definitely recommend that if you are somebody that is here for a cutesy good time, you will love this. I also personally think that maybe I would have liked it a lot more if I'd watched it a lot earlier in my own personal BL journey, because I only just recently watched this and think maybe if I'd watched it around the same time as Than Type, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But again, I don't want to talk about my own personal thoughts on like why I didn't love it, because otherwise it's not really going to convince any of you guys to watch it. But I wanted to have a little bit of everything in here. I wanted to have a little bit of everything. As you are going to find out, cutesy shows are not my kind of shows, but I know that there will be someone out there that really loves a good cutesy little show, and so I do recommend The Eclipse, and it's also got a really good couple. So I found out about The Eclipse because there's a couple called First Cow who I love, and I watched First Cow in a different show that I'm going to recommend in this list. It was the first show that had First Cow in it, and then I found out about The Eclipse and that had First Cow in it, so I really wanted to watch it because I love First Cow as a couple. I also found out that The Eclipse is First Cow's debut show together, which is not surprising. But this one, again, you love cutesy shows. If you love like a good high school drama sort of show, that's what this is. It is set at high school. And if you love that sort of stuff, I definitely recommend that you give it a go. I don't think that it was a terrible show. I reckon, like I said, if you love cutesy things, you love high school dramas, I definitely recommend that you give it a go and see what you think. You might love it. It might be for you. It's a lot tamer. The plot is very simple and easy to follow. I definitely didn't want to mention anything today that was going to have a ridiculously confusing plot. because I didn't want to have anyone go, oh, why do you recommend this? I'm so confused. So everything today has a pretty, like, easy to an extent to follow plot. The Eclipse definitely has like the easiest to follow plot, because some of the other shows are more action packed and they do have a little bit more plot that you need to follow than the Eclipse. The Eclipse is pretty simple. You got a good set of characters, and this was nice. It was fine. I definitely recommend. Like I said, cutesy is your vibe. This show will be your vibe. Speaking of the other show that I watched First Cow in, we are now going to talk about OnlyFriends. I love OnlyFriends. I love OnlyFriends. Such a good show. OnlyFriends is another one that it is kind of one of my favorites again. This one's like drama filled. OnlyFriends to me is giving Thai gay Gossip Girl. Okay? Thai gay Gossip Girl. That is, if I were to describe OnlyFriends in 4 words, those 4 words would be Thai gay Gossip Girl. Let's get into the synopsis. So we follow 4 friends, Mew, Ray, Boston, and Nam Chuan, who decide to open a hostel together. They blur the lines between friendship and romance. So it's ensemble like this show. We have 3 to 4 main couples of the show that all get a pretty similar amount of screen time. So OnlyFriends is not one of those shows where there will be a clear as day main couple, because they are all main couples. Let's get into those couples and kind of like what goes along with them. So first of all, we have Boston and Nick. So Boston is the show's man whore. I tried to put that nicely, but when you watch it, it's clear as day that he is the show's man whore. Your Barney Stinson, your Joey Tribbiani. He just wants casual fun, casual sex. He doesn't want anything too serious. But then he meets Nick. Now, Nick is kind of giving I can fix him, but like Boston is a little bit fixed. You're gonna have to watch OnlyFriends to find out what goes on with those two. Those two are, they're all toxic, but like Boston and Nick are like, oh my god, I think they're probably the most toxic of the 4 couples I will mention today. Then we have Ray and Sand. Ray and Sand are my favourite. This is the couple played by First Cow. Now their storyline is quite simple. Ray is an alcoholic. He meets Sand and enlists him as a drinking buddy, and things just go from there. I'm not going to give you much else, but that's all you're going to get. Lastly, for the main couples, we have Mew and Top. So Mew is still a virgin. He's very inexperienced. He's like the virgin of the group. And then he meets Top. Now Top is very, very much so more experienced than Mew, and again, things just go from there. Top is very like, he wants to be Mew's first. He kind of has a weird obsession with being Mew's first. And things just go, it's very toxic. This show is very like, everybody's kind of fucked everybody. And yeah, so we do have a jail character, but I'd say that this is a little like side couple, because they tried to have a jail couple in there with Namchuan and April, but you can tell that they get less screen time than the BL couples do. GL stands for girls love. That is like the opposite of boys love. Anyways, so they are a little bit, they don't get as much screen time, but there is Namchuan and April. Namchuan is like part of that friend group that open up a hostel together, and April is her girlfriend, and not a ton happens with them. They're kind of just there, but they're cute and adorable, and I love them. And let's be real, they're the same normal couple of the entire show. But it's messy and drama filled, and I just love it, because I love Gossip Girl. Personally, I absolutely froth Gossip Girl. And I frothed OnlyFriends. I think it's a great show. I think it will get you hooked if you are into those sorts of shows, because it's not necessarily like it's action-packed with drama, not action-packed with like literal violence and action. Like it's different, but it is more mature and spicier than something like a little cutesy show. So yes, this one is a spicy one. Again, I just, it's a spicy one because I know that some people love it and some people don't, so I'm just going to like warn you all, because this video is, like I said, for BL newbies, and I don't know how any of you feel about spice, but here we are. So it's a spicy one, but I loved OnlyFriends. I thought it was great. I actually don't mind ensemble shows. I know what I said about Pit Babe, but that's only because Pit Babe in the beginning, it wasn't an ensemble show, and I was just a little annoyed that season 2 started to feel a little ensemble-y. But if you're ensemble from the beginning, I'm cool with it. OnlyFriends from the beginning was clear as day that it was ensemble. And OnlyFriends is coming out with a season 2. I don't think it's coming out until 2026, but they are coming out with a season 2. But I will also just let you know that season 2 plans to follow a completely different set of cast. So I think it's going to have a similar vibe. It's going to be set at a university. It's going to be ensemble. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be messy and blah, blah, blah. It's just going to follow different characters. So there'll be no first cow, there'll be no force book. Different actors is what season 2 is going to be. So far only season 1 is out, so you can only watch season 1 for now, but like it's fine because season 2 are going to follow different people. Now the last show that I'm going to recommend today is another one of my favorites. What I'm actually going to be recommending you is my all-time favorite BL. This is my all-time favorite, Kin Porsche. We have to talk about Kin Porsche. This one is one of the most spiciest shows, also one of the most plot-heavy, most messy, very action-packed, involving the Thai mafia, and it is just my all-time favorite BL. Now, I was unsure if I was going to put Kin Porsche on the list, because personally nothing has ever compared since, and from a very self-indulgent point of view, you don't want to start with the best, because nothing is ever going to compare, nothing is ever going to be good enough. I mean, Pit Babe came pretty close. Pit Babe, I would say, is my second favourite drama of all time, just under. I would put Pit Babe, like, just under. Because it was giving Kin Porsche a run for its money, but then I was like, no, Kin Porsche is still, like, my number one. Also has my favourite pairing, Mile Apo. I love Mile Apo to death. Like, froth them so much. So I was unsure about putting Kin Porsche in here, but I am going to put Kin Porsche in here because it's an amazing show. I highly recommend it. And if you want to start with something dubbed the best, well, you're going to do it right, and you're going to start with Kin Porsche. Let's get into the synopsis. So like I mentioned, it follows the Thai mafia, and we are following two rival families. So two older, like, side characters. There are two, like, dad characters, and they're heads of their family. So the major family and the minor family. So the major family consists of Tan Kun, the oldest son, Kin, the middle child, and Kim, who is the youngest. And then we do also have the minor family, which consists of Vegas, the oldest, and Macau, the youngest. So Kin, it mainly follows Kin, who is the middle child of the major family. His main bodyguard is put out of action, so he's on the hunt for a new one. In comes Porsche. He is a charismatic bartender who also on the side fights for money. Kin and Porsche have an encounter where Porsche helps Kin, and then Kin gets to thinking he would be a really good fit as his new bodyguard. Porsche doesn't want to work with the mafia, but Kin is great at convincing people to do what he wants. High stakes action, emotion, and spice ensures. So there's so much to unpack. I frothed every second. Oh my god. So you've got the main plot, which is Kin and Porsche and their whole story. You also have the side couple, Vegas and Pete, who do get a side story and a side plot towards the middle of the show. It is, but it's not ensemble. Like, it is clear as day that Kin Porsche are main and then Vegas Pete side. But you know what, I loved Vegas Pete as well, and that's a very toxic opinion, but Vegas is basically the reddest, blackest flag character in the entirety of BL. There are some things that Vegas does that are just diabolical, and I'm not going to get into it because I want you to watch it and find out for yourself. But Vegas is a man that a lot of people have opinions about. But I loved Kinposh. I frothed it, and I definitely think you will be hooked. You will go down a rabbit hole. You will try and find shows that are similar. I've not really seen another show that involves mafia, so if anyone actually has some mafia recommendations for me, let me know, because I would love to watch a show that is similar to Kinposh, because I have not. But I just absolutely froth the entirety of this show and its plot line, and of course its NC spicy stuff, like, as well. Like, come on, I'm a girl. But it was just great. I just was watching it and was like, I have not watched anything like it. It was also my first, I guess, gigantically action-y packed show as well. I had watched a couple that did have some action in it, like Farm Types got a little bit of action towards the end. Manor of Death as well. Like, I do love Manor of Death. That's different for a different day. I'm not putting that in this video. But Kinposh was like, it ramped up in the action. Like, it was very, very high action. And I just fell in love with it and loved it. And it's my all-time favourite show. And I definitely recommend that if you want to start with Kinposh, I would. Kinposh is a show, though, that I dub dark romance television, though. So this is a TV show where I definitely recommend that you should check trigger warnings before going into it. Now, Kinposh is also based off of a book. There are a couple shows today that I mentioned that are actually like adaptations of books. Pit Babe is a book. Tharn Type is a book. I think Only Friends is a book, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Kinposh is a book. So I definitely recommend that you check your trigger warnings before going into it, because I have read the books as well. There are English translations of the books. And it is like dark romance. So check the warnings before you go into it. But if you check all of that and you're fine with anything that happens, then whoop-de-doo. Watch Kinposh and you're gonna love it. I love it. Nothing has ever topped it. Like I said, Pit Babe came close. But because I just love Pit Babe and I love Tafflepoo. But I love My Lapo and Kinposh. My Lapo for the win, because I just recently watched Shine and that had My Lapo in it, and I froth My Lapo, okay? I love them. And Kinposh is my first show ever. I definitely recommend that you could start with Kinposh if you think you're brave enough and fall in love just like I have fallen in love. The show is toxic as, but I just love it. I just absolutely love it. It is one of the best shows I've ever seen. It is literally like, this would be on a list of my favorite shows of all time if I were going to combine both Asian shows and Western shows. This would make that list. It would make that list. Well, that was it for today's video. I just wanted to give some recommendations for some shows. If you are new to BL, you've never watched a BL before, I definitely recommend that one of these 6 will be for you. I tried to have a little bit of everything, and so hopefully I have recommended something for someone. But yep, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you love a good BL just as much as I do, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.